YouTube now. Go.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. We had a little difficulty
Someone
because
hacked us.
it seems like we hadn't restarted our computer over the weekend. So a lot of stuff was going on, and we normally restart our computer, and this time we did not. So here we go. So we're back, guys. Sorry about that, and let's get back on track, Carlos.
I am.
So-
We're going live right now, guys, on Facebook. So you're gonna hear me. For those of you who are on Facebook, we're gonna post the links right now. Luis is posting a link to our YouTube channel.
And we are going on YouTube right now.
All right, so we're live now, guys, with the FTP crew. We're back. Carlos Muñiz with the FTP crew.
Luis Smith, good afternoon,
Luis
guys.
Samir, sorry about that. We're always dealing with technological issues here. Technological issues.
So we were talking about the ballots, guys. That we got the ballots in the mail. Most of us got ballots. So, interestingly enough, we wanted to talk to you guys about different things. And believe it or not, we are now have a structure due to our new executive
producing team.
Yeah, executive producer team. We have a schedule on what we should be talking about. So we're going to follow their schedule. Right now, we need to talk about sports and entertainment. So, how about those Lakers, baby?
Yeah, Lakers.
Yeah.
They did it. You were right, 6. I thought they should have
called it
won.
6?
They should have won Game 5. That was the dumb. Like Morris.
I don't know why
All
they
he had
had
to
him
do was-
shooting. I don't know why they have
No,
him shooting.
I think Danny Green is a prolific shooter. I mean, he did very well with the Raptors.
He wasn't making anything in this
But the
series.
shooters are like that. The one that missed a lot, like, was Kuzma, bro. Like, that guy just.
I would rather had Kuzma take that shot because you know what? He makes that shot. You lift him up so.
Yeah,
so,
that would have got him. That would have. They would have removed the petition. You know, there's a petition
To
on
not give him-
Facebook
not give him a
to
ring?
Not give him a ring. I think that's bullshit. I go. You think the Lakers are not gonna? I'm like, oh, sorry, Kuzma, you're not gonna. It's dumb.
yeah.
That's how crazy Laker fans. But what you know,
Well, people that think they're Laker fans.
Well, like, so I want to take it back to before LeBron. When LeBron came to the Lakers, I should have saved those posts of all the Laker fans are saying, "Oh, we don't want this guy here, and we don't need him," and blah blah blah. And I'm curious to see if
I personally,
those folks have actually changed their attitude.
I personally don't like LeBron as much as the other prior Lakers, but I mean, if you want to have the best player on your in the league on your team, why not? You know, that's what I'm.
So right now that he won a championship, you don't like him?
I've never really have liked LeBron. I mean, I've liked other players before LeBron, but you know,
Like you mean like you love Magic? Like you
Magic's my guy. You know that.
You
Yeah.
were in love with him.
Yeah. HIV and everything.
HIV.
Yeah, all the way.
All right, but you don't feel like respect or love for LeBron right now.
I respect him now. I mean, obviously, he proved to everybody that he was the player. But you know, I don't get as excited as watching LeBron as I did with Kobe and Magic and Worthy and so forth. I get more excited to watching other players for some reason. I mean, LeBron's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's one of the best, and that's why he said he wanted respect. He wanted people to show people that he deserves respect because people were downing. You know, he's 35. You know, he's 35, and he's not that old, but in basketball age, he is kind of old. So that's one of
Yeah,
those.
he's still,
Yeah.
I think, playing at a very high level. I mean, the numbers are there, but I think something that people fail. The discussion came up is why LeBron won't be the greatest is because they say that the league is weak right now. Like the teams are soft. They're not the New York Knicks, the Detroit Pistons.
But it's a different era. The
Boston.
way you play, it's a different era.
So that's why they're trying to discredit him not being the best and go, well, it's not, but this is still professional level. I mean, you got some very talented kids. It's a lot of running now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be in some mad shape to be.
Oh, back in the
and
day, it
forth.
would be go into the middle and feed the ball in the middle.
Dump it to the big guy. It was a center game.
Yeah.
Now it's a point guard
Yeah.
driven game,
Right.
and it's a 3-pointer shooting game.
Oh, you got Anthony Davis, who's a power forward, shooting
Shooting
3-pointers.
three-pointers.
He's not even under the
He
boards.
doesn't even want to post up.
He doesn't want to post up. But you know what?
But he's got the skills too. But he's,
the one
he's
adjustment they made, though, you know that is he played
when
center.
When he posted
He
up,
played the 5.
as soon as he posted up, they started making better shots.
Yeah.
You'll get there. That size, you can't be a point guard. I mean, right now you're young, you can move, but give it a couple more years. I go, just learn some good post-up moves. I would train with the Kim Olajuwon and learn some of his moves, and that kid will really have a really good future.
Oh, that guy is
with the
good.
Lakers, because I'm sure he's not going anywhere. So.
Yeah, I don't see him
But
going.
congratulations to Los Angeles Lakers for winning their 17th championship.
17 championship. And by the way, there's no parade, guys, because of COVID. It's
Well,
on
the
hold.
parade already happened yesterday.
Yeah, there was a parade.
There was only 70. How many arrests?
78 arrests.
70 arrests.
8
Out of-
cops got.
Out of how many people that were out there?
There was at least 1,000 people out there, I would say. At least.
Wow, no, that's not a big number. No, that's like not even.
But it was just people just decided to show up, and just show
And
up.
why were these folks getting arrested for buying hot
No,
dogs?
because estaban quemando llanta.
Oh, quemaron? Oh,
There was
I
a
didn't-
car
I
in the
didn't
middle.
watch.
They were burning.
I
They
didn't
were
wanna
they were
watch.
shooting fireworks in the middle of the crowd.
Really?
Yeah.
hanging
You know,
on the
it's funny,
streetlights.
like.
Hanging on the streetlights.
Those fools that still have fireworks, like when the Lakers won. Oh my God! By my
Dude,
house, it was like
we have fireworks in
I
Santana
swear to God,
all
it was
year
like a
long.
drive, like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like,
Cuando ganaron los Lakers, echaron fireworks in Santana. Didn't you hear
it's
it?
like in Santana, you know, cuando gana la selección, cuando ganan los Lakers, cuando ganan los Raiders, cuando gana la
Las
América,
Chivas. El América,
las
las
Chivas, cuando ganan los
That's
Dodgers.
the one question I always have had. Why is it always el Gran Clásico when it's Chivas and America? It's like and like el Gran Clásico like every week. Isn't it like every week?
No,
Like juegan las Chivas, juega la América, el Gran
No.
Clásico, and it's like next Saturday's the Gran
No,
Clásico again.
man,
It's the
let me
same
break
thing.
it down to you, homie.
Jeez, come
Soccer has 2 seasons in 1 year, so they play 2 clásicos in a year.
So it's that boring, huh?
It's that boring.
Mm.
No, actually, it's interesting. I mean, if you ever go watch a real live soccer game, I think you'll really enjoy it. Are we gonna do any commercials?
Yeah.
All right, why
at
don't we
4,
go
at
ahead and,
4:15. Okay. Read your schedule.
It's 4:17, so
Oh.
commercial
Let's
time.
talk about Lakers.
See, we talked too much about the Lakers.
See, where's our
No,
executive
letting
producer
people
that didn't
know.
like? Where's the buzzer? You gotta hit the buzzer.
Hit the buzzer. I know we need a buzzer.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Albert Durazo of Pacific Lighthouse Insurance Agency. Our agency is located in the city of Orange with the capability of serving the entire state of California. I've been serving the community with business, life, health, car, and home insurance for the last 22 years. Pacific Lighthouse is proud to give you the best customer service. We will take care of your needs. The advice we offer will give you the peace of mind that your business and family will be protected. As an independent agency, we will find you the best insurance company at reasonable pricing with the best possible coverage. Call us now at 657-667-0225. Pacific Lighthouse Insurance.
Hello, my name is Cesar Mendoza, and I'm the mortgage broker and CEO for CNC Financial Corp. Our team of professionals have over 20 years of experience, resulting in our strength to educate all of our clients, provide a sense of security, and staying consistent from start to finish. Our expertise include a variety of home loans, such as FHA, conventional, VA, no money down, and loans for non-permanent residents, and even borrowers with IT numbers. We also offer specialized programs for business owners, self-employed, asset depletion, bank statement, and even no income documentation for investment properties. We can also assist in refinances to remove mortgage insurance, cash out to pay off any debt, including renovation and paying off student loans, with no cash out loan to value restrictions. CNC Financial Corp is more than your average company. We're making dreams come true, one family at a time. Call us now, 1-800-306-5185. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.
Last off.
All right, guys, we are back. Now we're having our commercials rerun. That was Albert
Luis
Durazo with
loves
Pacific.
black man.
I know, who is that?
Exchange.
Who is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Albert Durazo with Pacific Lighthouse Insurance and Cesar Mendoza with CNC Financial. So if you guys need to refinance or purchase a home, call my boy Cesar Mendoza. Actually, call me, and then I'll connect you with Cesar Mendoza.
Actually, I need to call Caesar. I got a client for him.
Oh, no, let me, and then I send it to
Okay,
him.
I do. I'll connect it to you.
Yeah, send it to me, and I'll send it to him. So
Yeah, the rates are still very good, very low right now.
very
guys.
low rates. Don't know how long they'll be that low because after the election everything's supposed to change. So we'll see what happens. So FTP of the week, we decided to start doing FTP. Well, Carlos decided to start doing FTP of the week. He ran it by corporate and it never got to my desk, but I guess he decided to do it. Who is that? Who is this?
I don't know. I say Sin Commercials get some new ones, so I don't know who that is, but that's right. Somebody messing with you guys again. Anyways, yes, we're supposed to be talking about an FTP person of the week,
Who should be our FTP person of
and
the week?
I think we're gonna give it to LeBron James for bringing. I think for bringing the championship to LA, and not only that, but really putting the effort to make sure to honor Kobe, which I think is what was driving them.
Right.
The emotional drive they had was Kobe Bryant, and I think it's really sweet that they're going to be able to do it because the Dodgers are not going to be able to do it. So
No.
I'm glad the Lakers. It would be nice.
Did I tell you that I set my DVR to record The Biggest Loser and it was recording the Dodger games? I don't know what happened.
Wow. Don't talk smack because they're only down.
I got a
one
bet.
game.
I got a little
They're only
side bet.
They're only down one game right now.
We'll look at the score right now.
And
see.
where did they play at home?
They're playing
or
right now.
Where they Atlanta?
They're not. Ooh, 2-0. Atlanta's up.
Are they playing in Atlanta?
I think they're playing in either San Diego or LA, but
that's
there's,
right,
there's no
'cause
fans.
It's yeah.
There's no fans.
So especially for the Dodgers, they didn't want any fights or anything like that. So actually,
Yeah.
crime.
I heard that
Since
they
the Dodgers
I
didn't
heard that
have any
they're
fans during the games, crime went down a lot.
Yeah, and I heard they're giving out Dodger dogs in the parking lot.
Yeah,
But then they had to have the paramedics over because people were choking.
they were
them.
choking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because they're too long. All right, next
All right.
topic. You're getting boring.
I know. Next topic is supposed to be our guest. Where's our guest? Is she on her way or is she got lost?
I don't know. I text our guest, so for the meantime, we're just gonna keep in.
So we can always skip the guest right now, and then we do our next topic, which would be our COVID numbers, and talk about COVID. But we can also, at the same time, talk about. Why don't we talk about the ballots? Since we got the ballot. Let's talk about.
So
the
yeah,
ballots.
like we were like nobody. Luis got his ballot. He didn't
I got
realize
my
that-
ballot. I did make my change from Balboa to Santana.
Balboa.
I was the only Mexicano in Balboa with the illegal fireworks, and now I have mine. I got it Saturday. So first of all, when you open up your ballot, guys, like I was telling Carlos earlier, Carlos, did you get one?
I got one.
Yeah.
Yes, it's at home.
So
I have it
when
ready.
you open up your ballot, the very first page, you're going to be able to choose the President of the United States. Second is going to be your representative for Congress, and that's either Lou Correa or James Waters. And then member of the Assembly, you've got Tom Daley, who's the incumbent, and your good friend, John Paul White.
John Paul White, the
John.
third.
The third. So yeah, John Paul White right there. And then you've got your Santa Ana Unified School District too, guys. So you got your candidates for school district, Alfonso Alvarez, Cecilia Anguiana, Carolyn Torres, Judith Carrillo, Oscar Reyes, and Rigo Rodriguez. So you got three people that are going up for re-election, and you got three people actually that are coming in and trying to obviously get in there.
Well, you got two that have been there already for a while.
Yeah.
And you have one that was only there for the last several months, I would say, which is Carolyn Torres.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the turnout.
The other election you got to look at is our county supervisor. Currently, it's Andrew Doe, and you've got Sergio Contreras coming in as a candidate. He's a Westminster City Council member that's decided to go against Mr. Doe. So that's your other thing right there. And then, of course, one of the most important ones that we've got is, and one of our guests today was Claudia Alvarez, who's
Mayor
a candidate for mayor of Santana. So you've got Claudia Alvarez, Mark Lopez, Vincent Sarmiento, Jose Solorio, Cecilia Iglesias, and George Collins. So the other thing that we're working on, George Collins.
Is that Phil Collins' cousin by any chance?
No. The other thing we're working on, guys, is on October 29th, we're trying to do a mayor's forum with the candidates for Santana.
Which reminds me, we got to push the one that we just.
I already confirmed with Vince.
Pushed everybody.
I already confirmed with George Collins, and I just sent an email again to Mark Lopez, and I left a voicemail today for Jose Solorio. So Claudia was going to be here today, so we'll confirm with Claudia, and then you can call your good friend Ceci.
Yeah, I'll
and
move her over to
talk to her and say, hey, instead of it being the 22nd, we'll do it on the 29th.
Yep.
So send us your questions, guys, and we'll ask those questions that some of the other forums don't ask. You know, FTP style. We will be very respectful. We will be.
Well,
you know,
I mean, it's not putting anybody in the the spot or anything, but
Right.
just hearing, like, really, like, are we gonna address this whole police association budget? 'Cause that's something that's the big elephant in the.
Well, there's a lot of things we
the
got going
room.
on.
You know, is the mayor gonna be involved with something, or is there plans to whoever the next mayor?
Well, you got homelessness.
Yeah,
You've got the train.
they got rid of the needle program.
The NIDA program's no longer
See,
there.
a lot of people were like saying, "Oh yeah, you know, let's get rid of that program." But I know that a lot of these drug addicts or drug users, I shouldn't say that. They sometimes throw the needles on the floor, and people were like, "Well, that's stupid. Why is the government giving them needles?" Like, well, think about this. Now that there's gonna be less needles, don't be surprised if you don't get a hepatitis outbreak because people are starting to share needles. So. You know, before we go and complain about what's going on, we should look at all sides and realize, like, hey, I know it doesn't make sense, right? At first, let's say for me, I was like, what the hell? We're giving them needles? That's crazy.
Yeah, but aren't we
You know?
supporting or helping them out by giving them needles now? Because you're a heroin addict now, you get to exchange your needles because
You got
you got the city of Santa Ana or these programs coming in and giving them different options obviously to get needles. So it's one of those things that it's interesting enough is, do we support it or are we not, or are we against it? I mean, I walked around downtown Santa Ana by the courthouse. Remember when we had the flag, the little area there where all the flags were at?
yeah.
We had all the homeless people.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point,
When
there
they had the little airplane.
yeah, and at one point we had all the people that were sleeping there and urinating there and and going to
Is
the
that
bathroom.
airplane still there?
The airplane's further down. It's further down by the
county.
by the new county
Yeah.
recorder. But it's one of those things. I mean, city of Santa Ana has a burden of having these people, these homeless people. That's the other thing, the homelessness. We have the train that's whole 4th Street is completely messed up right now. Of course, we've got the COVID outbreak that has all the restaurants out there, which is nice. We've taken advantage of that. We've gone ahead and very big shout out to Cerveza Cito.
We've taken 20 pounds advantage of it.
Cerveza Cito, we had the grand opening last Tuesday.
Ribbon cutting. Tuesday, yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. So a lot of the things that are going on, our mayor has to be involved. But I want to see the current current city council member. I'd like to see some activity. I got a call this morning from somebody in Ward 1 saying that they've reached out to their council member about certain things they're seeing down 1st Street, and they haven't gotten a call back. The people that are walking around, you got the prostitution on 1st Street, you got the street racers, you got all these different issues in Santa Ana, besides the homelessness, besides not having Wi-Fi for all the kids at the Santa Ana Unified School District. So we've got kids that are in trouble by not going to school because they don't have the Wi-Fi, because they don't have the ability to afford the Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of different things that have to happen. And I know the Wi-Fi issue has been one of these things now that all these candidates that are running have been pushing. But I'm wondering, why haven't the candidates that are there now, that were elected on the last time, what have they done? I haven't seen anything proposed. I haven't seen, all of a sudden now these new guys are coming in with ideas. What happened to the last batch in 2016 that they haven't come up with any new ideas? And we're talking about the newer council members, and that's why you've got people coming in like Jonathan Hernandez coming in. He's looking at the current council member that's there saying, first of all, not doing enough. Do you really live in the area? Do you really live in Santa Ana? I don't know.
And that's one of the most impacted areas there.
Yeah.
Is that like where Townsend?
Yeah, no, it's more of like Santa Ana
Pilar.
Boulevard, El Salvador Park, and that area right there. So just different things, that you want to look at and say, are they really doing anything? They're in there now. The POA got you in there. The POA got you in there. The last 2 candidates got in there because of the POA. All the money that was put in by the POA. But what exactly are they there for? Are they there as puppets by the POA? And did you take money from the POA to get elected, and you're not doing anything? All you're doing is showing up and stamping stuff and getting stuff done, pushing it across your paper pusher. And are you doing anything?
Well,
So
I think,
are you involved in the community?
There's a gentleman out there. He's on Facebook. His name is Luis Cachua. I think you know him.
Yeah.
He's been bringing up those questions, asking the people, hey, would you support somebody that's taking money from
POA.
DOA or whatever? And to me, what was trippy was that a a lot of people were not being engaged in that. You know what I mean? So I think we as residents need to get more information and then get engaged and find out, because or we go based on what somebody tells us, right?
Right. And me and you were talking about this earlier too. You know, you have these people that are running for city council or running for mayor that you don't ever see. And they come in every year, there's an election, and they try to get into that position. And then they lose, and you don't see them again for another 4 years. And then all of a sudden now they're living in a different ward now. They're moving from different wards just to see if they can get in there.
Yep.
And it's one of those things, I mean, obviously they can come in and rant and do whatever they have to do. But in actuality, what have they been doing? Have they been doing anything in the community? There's some current people that are running for city council that I've never heard of. I've never seen them in the community. I've never seen them at any of the city events. I've never seen them at city council meetings. So what are they doing now? And all of a sudden they pop up and they're like, oh.
Well, I mean, you got folks like Tony Andame, for example,
Yes.
running in what ward is he running? 3?
I'm not exactly sure which
But
ward
that's
he's in.
a homegrown guy right here from Santa Anita. Him and his brother and his friend decided to create a very lucrative business called Suavecito that's doing very, very well for them. That's allowed them to invest in other businesses. Like we were there last Tuesday at the ribbon cutting. So, and I do want to thank all the elected officials and community leaders that were there. The Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Lou Correa and Tom Daly and all those guys over there. Thank you guys for all the support. Really appreciate it. Shout outs to Mr. Don Martinez. How you doing, Don? Hopefully everything's going well with you. That's
Hey,
well.
Coach.
But it's just getting informed, guys. So that's why we really need to go out there and make that vote, and we'll be going over the propositions on Thursday.
Thursday we're gonna do the proposition show. Talked about the
when
12
we have the
propositions.
mayor's forum, that's when we'll have the opportunity for you guys to watch. But,
Yeah, so we'll have that this Thursday, 6:00, proposition show regarding the 12 propositions that are on there, so you guys can make a educated decision. We'll do it in English and Spanish.
Sophie, I think Claudia's in
I think Claudia's here, so we'll do a good run by, tell you exactly what it's all about, tell you exactly what these propositions are all about, not how to vote, but how to do it. So it's one of those things that we can come in and you guys decide who should be, what proposition affects you, what propositions are going to affect.
like the one with Uber, right?
They've
A lot
got
of people
Uber
were like,
yeah.
A lot of people were going like, let's support the drivers and let them be independent contractors. But a lot of drivers are not supporting that bill because they claim that Uber and Lyft were not paying them the proper wages.
Well, they're
not treating
considered
them right.
independent contractors,
So,
or they consider employees.
That changes
You know,
everything, right? Like,
you've got a proposition also about people that have been convicted of crimes and that are now, now ex-convicts. Are they now going to be allowed to vote again?
Yeah.
So there's propositions about different things, and there's 12 of them, and a lot of us, it's overwhelming. There's so many things on here that you look at it. I mean, I've got page 1, and I look at these other ones. You've got all these other ones that you don't even know what's on there. We've got, obviously the one that I know is the bail one. Is bail going to stay alive or not stay alive? There's all these different things. There's some with amending some laws. There's some about bond issues. And
commercial
different things.
property laws.
So there's a lot. There's one for rent controls too. So we're going to go over these propositions on Thursday, 6:00. We'll talk about them all. We'll give them what 5-10 minutes each. And we'll talk to you guys about English and Spanish, tell you guys what it's all about. So you guys can make a decision on what to do. We're not going to tell you how to vote, but we're going to tell you what they say as best as me and Carlos can interpret these things, because we're just here for the people. That's what FTP is all about, for the people. Telling you guys exactly what to fill out is not what
we got to make that clear, because
Yeah.
and again, that's why messing around, it did start with the whole George Lopez thing, like we said, but we are trying to change the FTP to a positive acronym so people can be more positive about it.
So we'll talk about that, guys, on Thursday, 6:00. We'll give you guys a little rundown. Hopefully you guys have your ballots. Obviously this year it's one of those things where you're going to have to mail in your ballot.
Well, not necessarily mail
can
it
actually-
in. You could actually, if you look in your book,
Yeah.
there's like addresses and addresses of all locations where you can go drop off your ballot.
It's a drop-off.
If for whatever reason you don't want to deal with the post office because of all this stuff that's going on. I've been doing this dropping off thing for the last several elections, and it works. Normally my mom, we all get together, my whole family, we all fill out the ballots, and my mom we'll go drop them off for us the next day. You know, make sure they get.
My
counted.
grandma comes over,
Yeah.
my uncle come over, my mom comes over, and we just like, a ver, mijo, ¿qué ponemos aquí?
And a couple of dead cousins, you know. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, we start filling them out, and you know, ¿y este quién es? You know, they start asking you questions, and ¿y este quién es? You know, it's one of those things. If you think about it, it's especially for somebody who's an immigrant and is now a U.S. citizen. We have to use our abilities to now go out and vote, make those decisions,
Well,
make those hard decisions for people. You know, there's people that want to vote, and people are, you know, so they can't. So we got to do that.
But our folks, they learn through the TV, you know, they'll tell them something like, oye, ¿y ese quién es ese Luke Correa? O ¿quién es esa Claudia que está corriendo para mayor, you know? And
Para alcalde, no
para alcalde,
mayor.
you know what I mean? Because maybe they had a little segment on Univision or whatever, and now they're intrigued, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where the younger generation
Yes.
should come in and help, not guide them, but, you know, understand what's going on and how lucky we can be to eventually in the future have a woman mayor here in Santa Ana. So
And I don't know if it's just me, but I see a lot more involvement with the youth. You know, my daughter is going to vote for the first time. You know, she was
Really?
first time ever she's going to vote, and
You
she's
couldn't vote
excited.
before?
She's excited about that. No, she just.
I
you know,
because
turned
you were not
18
of
last
age,
year,
that's
but
right.
November
You were-
21st.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You were underage, so
Yeah.
okay, cool.
So she's going to be
Are you
able to vote. So
excited?
you know.
Yes.
Are
So
you nervous like a Scantron test like this?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm just gonna copy.
I'll take my
Louise.
time.
Well, there was a Facebook post about that. Just copy like back in the school with homework, you know. So and somebody put their ballot on there and just copy it.
Yeah.
But no, and the one thing important with the ballot, I saw somebody actually post their ballot and say, "Oh, I already voted," you know. But what they actually did is they put an X.
Right. That's the one thing we
And
need to tell
I
you
made a
guys.
comment. I go, you might want to redo that, or I don't know what you could do, but they're not going to count those. And if you guys look in the back of the actual
There's instructions.
paper that comes, it gives you how to fill it out. It's black or blue ink, and
Black.
you got to black or blue.
Black or blue?
Use blue or black ink.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
no pencil.
You,
It's
got,
not
you,
a
you
sketch.
can't use your crayons.
I can't use my Sharpies.
Okay.
No, but you got to fill in the whole box, and you got to stay within the box, guys. That's what we learn in kindergarten. And we're gonna stay in there, but that's the proper way. Because if you put an X or a check mark something, they will not count it. So
Yeah.
be very, very.
And there's
careful.
obviously you got to seal it. You got to seal your envelope. You got to sign it also. So that's very important.
And the person that's gonna drop it off has to sign it as well.
Yeah,
And,
so-
and we'll but show them in the back right here.
Yeah.
So once you guys decide who you're gonna vote for, you put it in here, and then it tells you,
Your
I am
address.
unable to return my ballot and hereby authorize. And you print the name of the person that you're giving the authorization to, and then have them sign it, and then you put the relationship. So it's either mom,
Yeah.
brother, sister,
But
whatever.
you could just stick this in the mail, guys,
Yeah.
because there's no need for a stamp or anything. Also, you know, you can just put it in the mail and it goes right out, and they'll get it.
I would go drop it off.
Yeah, you always
Just-
want to make
yeah.
sure.
Just go drop it off. Make sure you know.
You're like when you do your taxes. You wait till the last day. You go
I
drop
go
it off.
right there. Señor, hábleme, tengo que hacer los taxes. Pero así no es que me lo dejo para el último.
But you know, a lot of people leave it to the end. I was actually talking to one of the candidates for mayor, and he said, "I'm not interested in doing any more forums or anything like that because everybody's already voted." I'm like, "No, dude, not everybody's voted. I mean, you voted, but other people might have mailed it in,
Yeah.
sent it in. But it's one of those things. Not everybody's done it yet. So he was like, "Oh, it's already done." I'm like, "Okay."
Well, I mean, and that's a valid point. Think about that. But with that, why don't we bring into the show? We have our great friend here of FTP and also hopefully the first mayor woman of Santa Ana. Why don't we give Claudia Alvarez a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
¿Cómo estás?
Pásale, Claudia. No mordemos. No.
Hay rumores, pero no creo.
No, we already got our shots
¿Por qué crees que me
anyways.
siento hasta acá yo?
And we have some screen cleaner spray here that'll kill any bacteria.
There we go.
Aquí estamos.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I'm doing great. I'm feeling good.
Good.
21 days to go, but who's counting, right?
I know. It's like Christmas, right? The 21
Yes.
days of Christmas,
You
and
wake up
hopefully
every
here.
morning and you think, what's going to happen today? And you're thinking, do something for your cause every day. So every day we're working hard, and we're hoping to be the first Latina mayor in the city of Santa Ana.
Latina woman mayor in Santa. That would be awesome because
Yes.
we definitely need some change. So tell us. I mean, how's the campaign going? I mean,
It's coming along great. In a lot of different senses, I feel like I've already won because the people that we have working with us are amazing. They're
That's
putting
good.
a lot of sweat equity, as you know.
Mhm.
Politics require a lot of money, so you just don't have the required money to compete with those that are getting the money from questionable sources. You just gotta get your feet on the ground, get your boots on the ground. And we have a lot of support.
Yes.
A lot of support that are helping us out of the kindness of their heart, if you will, because they wanna see change in Santa Ana.
Of course, and it's one of those things. 26 years, we hadn't had a change, so
I know,
we're finally
right?
gonna have a change.
Everyone's excited about
Everybody's
that.
excited
Yes.
about that.
So,
Yeah.
and we were just talking about earlier, and we talk about not only the race you're in, but even some of the city council races that are out
Right.
there, the young folks that are running, and not only young, but very smart, very talented young people that are from Santa Ana, that know the city of Santa Ana.
Right.
So, we're hoping for, those folks to get elected as well, because I think that would really give us a better representation of what Santa Ana is, and to help with the mayor make the change.
Absolutely. You want a cross-section of who we are as a city, right?
So
that includes all ages.
Yep.
Explain to people, what does a mayor do? Because we hear a lot about the city council folks, right? But I
Right.
mean, and I know our mayor here sometimes pops his head here and there, but
Well, we
What we
set
do.
policy. As you know, the mayor is not the city manager, right? The council only has 3 employees. You have the city manager, the city clerk, and the city attorney. Everybody else works for the city manager.
Okay.
So we oversee the management of the city, if you will, but as
Yeah.
far as us micromanaging, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay.
Because there are experts that know their job better than
Right.
you, right?
Right.
Mm.
So to the extent that you could put on the table the policy that the people of Santa Ana are asking for, then that's what you make sure happens, if you will, to the extent that the council's in agreement, based on what you're hearing from the people.
What are usually the qualifications for somebody to be a mayor? What would be the qualification? Or is there any qualification? I mean, we see who's president now. There was no qualification there, right? But what is usually the qualification
Well,
for
there is
mayor?
So for president, there's an age qualification, but
Okay.
other than that, clearly not much more,
You're
right?
right.
In Santa Ana, well, you gotta be 18, you gotta be registered to vote, right, live in our city, right? And now, as you know, for the first time ever, we're gonna have city council elections by district.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta live in that particular
Right.
district, and only the people in that district are gonna get to vote for you.
What do you think about that? I mean, does that impact the elections somehow, some way, or?
It's exciting. The only concern I have with that model is that council members might start competing for limited funds
Right.
to benefit just their district at the expense of other districts that have other needs that take priority.
Yeah.
For example, if you have a neighborhood that has streets that are really completely falling apart and have been neglected for years, and a council member that has a little more pull, right, takes away from that particular
Yeah.
need, right, because of their district, that's a concern.
Yeah.
But I am obviously giving the benefit of the doubt to our council, our brand new council, when we step there, when I win.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I am planning to in fact invite each of them to the table, ask them what it is that they see as a need in their particular district,
Mhm.
and see how we could work together to make
Yeah.
that happen, but we gotta take care of the city as a whole.
That's a whole, yeah. And I think that's something that we're all looking forward to. I mean, I myself lived in the city forever, and I seen the mayor somewhat engaged and sometimes just disengaged to the point where you even forget that there's a mayor. But I see a lot more of the city council people be involved, so we're hoping that you're gonna bring that change to that if you get elected.
Absolutely.
What are some other things that you wanna work? We were just discussing, talking about the forums and everything now. Talking about, not the tough questions, but for example, this whole thing with the police department, having the biggest budget in the part of the city. I mean, what's your tackle on that? What do you think you could?
Well, there's different things to look at when you look at the police department, right? Because there's a spectrum of need, if you will, in the city. I think our police department has been tasked with a lot more than they should be doing, right? They shouldn't be responding to the homeless individual that's blocking the
Right.
sidewalk, right?
Right.
There should be somebody else responding to that need. I have a great example, a great
Maybe the
model.
county,
Right.
some social workers or
Some
something.
social
yeah.
worker,
Yeah.
somebody that's actually able to deal with the mental health issues
Yeah.
that sometimes you see, and as we know, a lot of you know, some of these mental health homeless people are getting a little violent because they're either not taking their medication,
Yes.
they're frustrated, they're not getting what they want, and they're increasing in violence,
Yeah.
or in their behavior as far as, demanding what it is that they need at that time. That's not fair to our residents, that's not fair to our businesses. La Chiquita, we all know La Chiquita restaurant,
Mhm.
right?
Of course.
Just recently, somebody was telling me that there was a homeless woman that typically is a very nice woman that passes by his restaurant every day and waves, and sometimes they give her food. But on a particular day recently, she started tipping tables over at
Yeah.
4:30
Oh, wow.
p.m., right? To the extent that guests couldn't come out of the restaurant, he didn't know what to do,
Caused
she
the
was out of
scene and
control.
everything, yeah.
Was Miguel there? Because I usually run into him at the La Chiquita.
Really? I
He's
didn't
always
see him
at La
there.
Chiquita.
Maybe it was
I go there
Miguel
a lot,
that was
but I don't
throwing
see
that
him.
table. Anyways, no.
He's not a lady, he's not a lady. But I don't know,
No, but no, you're right. I mean, like, I see that because I ride my bike around the city a lot. And I tell everybody, I know who my homeless are because I recognize the people around, and I know when there's new ones, and you can say when most of them are pretty friendly, but I
Right.
have seen that, and I've heard other businesses being assaulted like normally wouldn't be assaulted like that. So
And our residents are breaking
Yeah.
into their
Yeah.
backyards,
Yeah.
right? And if
Yeah.
you're a single woman or you're home alone, an elderly person,
Yeah.
of course you're gonna
Yeah.
be worried as to who's in your backyard. Sometimes they're testing doorknobs,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I was showing a home earlier today, and the guy that has the listing told me that homeless people had broken into the house, and all they wanted to do was shower.
Right.
That's all they wanted to do is take a shower. So it's one of those things, you know.
Or they go open the
Yeah.
refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
So they're breaking
Well,
into the home.
luckily the house was
Yeah.
empty, but I mean, they
Right.
were just trying to break into the house.
sometimes just to
shower.
get water,
Yeah.
but it's enough to scare somebody at
Well,
home.
now with this COVID thing, then now too, the bathrooms are closed and people.
Yeah, that's the
can't
other
come in.
thing, man.
Right,
Like
right.
businesses are like you can't go to McDonald's anymore.
You can buy food,
Right.
but you can't use the restroom sometimes.
Right, well, look at our library before COVID,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Our beloved library, right, started closing down because it was basically taken over by the homeless,
Yes.
right? And you feel for them because they do need to use the restroom, they do need to wash their face and their
Yeah.
hands, and they do
Yeah.
need to eat. But to what extent do we reach that balance?
Yeah.
And yes, Santa Ana has its share of homeless, but we shouldn't have all the county
Not all of
homeless
them.
in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to the extent that we could hold other cities accountable, absolutely, we should continue to hold other cities accountable to a higher level.
Well, there should be a protocol, and then that protocol duplicated in other cities. So if you do
Right.
have homeless, you follow the protocol that Santa Ana has or whatever it is. And I've heard of people even coming to drop off homeless here in Santa Ana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they do?
They
Oh, yeah,
take
they-
them
they
like,
do.
hey, we're gonna go shopping, and they go to Food for Less. And whoever gets back on the bus gets back on the bus. Whoever doesn't, doesn't.
Yeah.
Right, but
Yeah.
it's not even just the homeless.
Yeah.
It's been happening for years where they're dropping off inmates.
Inmates them.
Oh, yeah.
People that
Wow.
are not from Santa Ana, that did not commit the crime in Santa Ana,
Yeah.
right? For example, at the camp, which I don't think it's open anymore, but there was an agreement between the county and the city of Irvine, where if you were sent to the camp,
Mhm.
which is for minor offenses, just do
Yeah.
minor offenses,
Music.
music,
Mhm.
you were not allowed to leave unless you had a ride with a
Right.
private person.
Really?
Yes.
Because that's
You-
in the city of Irvine.
Yeah,
Ah.
you couldn't grab a cab, so unless someone went and picked you up, right, you had to get on the bus that would bring you to Santa Ana, right? So one given morning, I get a call from one of our sergeants saying, I don't believe my eyes. The bus, the county bus that brings in the inmates, stops at 7-Eleven on Flower and First
Mhm.
and drops off the inmates.
Yep.
So of course, we were outraged, so we called Sheriff Hutchins at the time to the table with Chief
Yeah,
Waters
Sarah, yeah.
to explain to us, how is this happening? Why are these inmates being dumped in our city? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't even have the decency to bring them into the intake release center.
No, they just drove 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it was easier for them to drop them off there because we had a
But-
payphone.
But they're not from Santa Ana.
No.
No,
So
I-
even if you committed a crime in Irvine, right, you had to get on the bus, be taken to Santa Ana, and call somebody
Wow.
from Santa
Yeah,
Ana
it
to
takes
bring
like
you back.
6 hours for you to ship you. I got a better story. I had a person that was in custody with an INS hold. That 72 people with INS holds were dropped off on Harbor and First Street from music.
Oh, that's crazy.
They dropped him off, and the lady had tried to bail him out.
On
Bail
where?
him out.
Harbor and what?
Harbor and First Street. Ahí donde está now Dunkin' Donuts.
Why
And
there?
they just dumped them there.
71 people. The bus fit 71 people. 71 people were. They said the guy said they were told, get off the bus, don't look back. Yeah.
When
and
did
these-
that happen? Wow, we gotta talk about
Oh no,
the
no,
show.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I've got stories. So
We
yeah.
have to
So
have people recording this stuff.
Yeah.
But we gotta
nowadays.
speak up. We need a
We have to
mayor at
speak
the
up.
table
Yeah.
when those
That's
agreements
willing
are
to
being
defend
reached.
those things.
Right, so
Yeah.
the county had a contract with Irvine, but where was Santa Ana?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
not at the table when that agreement was reached.
right.
So it's time to have an active mayor defending our city.
And our Santa Ana jail is not being used either. Our
No,
Santa Ana
it's
jail,
not.
yeah, it
It's
was
not.
used for INS before,
Right.
and it's there even now. If you get arrested in Santa Ana, it takes about an hour for them to transfer over to the county. Why aren't they allowing us to use Santa Ana? It's a really nice jail. It's big enough for a lot of other things that we can do,
Mhm.
but it's not being used, and we're not making any.
And
The
there was
city's
a
not
lot of
making any
money
money.
pumped
Right,
into
City's
it.
not making
right,
any money on
and we
that.
still owe a lot of money on that building,
Yeah.
but it's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And actually, a lot of people wanted to have the people that had ice holes to stay in Santa
Mhm.
Ana so they could visit them.
Right.
So they weren't able to see beyond their nose
Yes.
in their poor decision making when they just basically threw the baby out with the bathwater before actually
Wow.
thinking it through.
And a lot of those changes and a lot of I'm not going to say errors were committed when we started having, we had Mr. Paul Walters, which was an excellent chief, and after that we had Sergio, and then we had different changes and we had different police chiefs that came in, and I don't think there was consistency with both the city council and the police chief in order to maintain that place the way it should be maintained
Well,
and be operated correctly.
I'll tell you what happened. I turned that in 2012, right? I used to be the chair of the Public Safety Committee, which, by the way, doesn't even exist now. But I was the chair of the Public Safety Committee for 9 years out of those 12, right? 2011, we were ranked the 4th safest city or size nationwide
Yeah.
by Forbes
Mhm.
magazine. The city was in great shape.
Yeah.
Not perfect shape, but
But
in
it was,
very good
yeah.
shape, all things considered. I left in 2012. Within 3 weeks, they walked Paul Walters out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there was this
Yeah.
agenda to go after a police department, and it's funny because right now there's a popular term out there being used to fund the police.
Oh yeah.
That council that remained, right, part of some of my opposition,
Mhm.
started defunding the police before it was a popular term to use.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
did not give them money to fill the vacant positions, right? We got in the back of the line to get the top pick for officers, right? We fell
Right.
behind Gardner and Anaheim, and then you get stuck with some limited choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to make up for those mistakes, it's gonna take years, and we're starting to see the effect because there's actual charts that show you how violent crime started going up within 2 to 3 years from when that happened. You walk Paul Walters out, who was great, a community policing, had a great.
He was very
award.
accessible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very accessible.
The community liked him, and
Yeah.
just because there was this agenda,
He was a city manager too, wasn't he?
A little bit, just because for
Like
interim,
interim,
just for a little, yeah, when they
When they
didn't have,
ran,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And how many city managers have we been through also?
Oh, we had
That's
a
also part of
carousel,
it.
carousel of just giving people money.
And all this money we gave them, and all
Buying
this
them
money
out,
after
and then
they
buying
left.
their
Yes.
contracts. I'm like, man, I should be in the city manager job. I didn't have to work. Just I'm gonna get fired anyways, but they already paid me.
And
Right.
interesting enough, when they hired the last city manager, and that was right before Cavallo's, they didn't want anybody from the city. They wanted to bring somebody from
But
the
some dude
outside.
from Phoenix or
Yeah, the guy
which
from
was a
Spring-
total disaster.
Yeah, it was a
right?
total disaster. I'm like, why don't you get somebody homegrown that's from the city that knows Santana,
We
not
had
from
some
somebody
good
from
quality
Phoenix.
people. They actually left the city.
Right.
So they worked in the city and they left for that reason that they felt that they got
Yeah.
Right?
overpassed for the opportunity.
So there's,
And
like I
it's
said,
disheartening,
yeah,
right?
yeah, just mismanagement, misunderstanding, just
A lot of
yeah.
ways.
So the mayor can not. I'm not saying intervene in these things, but at least could bring the city council to the table and start making decisions that are better for the city, and compared to what it's been to what's better for
We need
whoever's in.
adults at the table
Yeah.
that are willing to look beyond their personal needs, and we haven't had that in a long time. And I will say that publicly because that's
Yeah.
exactly how I feel. Part of the reason why I chose to run for mayor, because I raised my hand and announced publicly October 2019.
Mm.
Pre-COVID,
Yeah.
right, pre-George Floyd. And yes, it is very frustrating to know what's going on with the city, having served there for 12 years, 6 of them as mayor pro tem, and having watched them take it to the toilet.
Yeah.
Where we have how many city managers, how many of each of them are costing us, how many
Yeah.
police chiefs, why are decisions being made, why aren't the right hires being invited, and then nobody will want to work for our city because we were the running joke
Yeah.
in the county, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's so sad because Santa Ana has so much potential. It's just
We have a
got,
wonderful
it has
city.
a lot of culture
And it's people.
You know, and it does, like we see that, right? We're like, man, only if we could get the right people in
Our
there to
community
really
deserves
help
better than
shine
that.
Santana, fix up
Yeah.
a couple areas, the whole area over there by the Santa Ana Zoo where
Mhm.
man, you drive by there and it's pretty scary, man. And I grew up here in Santana,
Well,
and I'm like
we have been walking the city, right?
Yeah.
And because of the election, obviously we're familiar with it anyway, but now taking this new tour, right, if you will, more recent tour, it's shocking
Yeah.
the conditions that some of our neighborhoods are
Yeah.
in, and some of the people living in those houses. I did not know this, I'll wholeheartedly admit. There is an alley over by McFadden and Harbor, are you familiar with
yeah,
it?
yeah.
They're streets, they're actually,
Yeah.
well, I mean, they're alleys, but people live there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're full-blown houses.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how does this happen, right?
Yeah.
And it's not as
Yeah.
clean as it could be, it's not as taken care of as it could be,
Yeah.
right? So we have a lot of neglect that needs to be addressed. And thus the concern for the ward movement we're going into, right? Hopefully, and I do think that these new council members will have that vision to clean up, where we need it most, not necessarily just because it's in your ward, but
Yeah.
what's in the best interest of our city.
Any questions from anybody?
The one thing also is, we need the police, being a cop is a really difficult job. And a lot of people that
It's
want to
tough.
become, it's a tough job. They want to become cops, they hear Santa Ana with a lot of crime, a lot of, I always talk about the people jaywalking. I always talk about the people street racing. I always talk about the people with all those loud mufflers. Everybody's got the loudest muffler in Santana. And it's one of those things, all those things, a cop is going to look at all that stuff and go, I'd rather go work for Garden Grove. Está más calmado allá, es más tranquilo.
Oh, no, they have their
Yeah,
issues.
so
too.
it's one of those things. Which brings me to the next question is.
Actually, people want to come. Like, if you're a police department, I think Santa Ana and Irvine is like Santa Ana Police Department is the best one to work in.
If
Because
you
of
wanna
the
be busy,
benefits
yeah.
and the pay and everything.
Yeah, if you want to be busy,
Yeah.
porque en Irvine no pasa nada most
No,
of
it's
the
not.
time.
It's
Most
what's
people
that
want
too, but
experience,
Irvine
no
también
challenge.
paga bien, you know, and people will transfer from LA and
Yeah.
other parts to come to Santa Ana because it has a very good police department.
Well, as you know, I've been a prosecutor for 21 years, and it's for the entire county.
Yeah.
So when you get different assignments through your career, you get to go to different courthouses in different cities.
Mhm.
And it used to be that officers from other departments would ask me, how did you get into Santa Ana? Santa Ana used to be the department to work for.
Mhm.
And you don't hear that anymore,
Not
which
anymore.
is a shame.
Yeah.
But I do think that our police department has that potential.
I think so. I think I remember when I was a kid, they had what was his name, Jose Martinez, or it was
Oh, Vargas.
Vargas. Remember,
Oh,
they would
yeah.
use him a lot to be out in the community
Mhm.
and you know create that relationship with the cops in the community.
Right.
You don't have a Jose Vargas anymore.
Mhm.
Se murió, de que se murió él ya.
But that was by
Yeah,
Mr.
but-
I think
Paul.
his daughter was Mona. No, his daughter. I think she was a police too, but she retired too. So
You have
there's
Manny
really-
Delgadillo on 4th Street. If you go to 4th
Oh,
Street,
yeah, Manny.
Yeah, but Manny's good. But
But he's about to retire. He
Yeah,
has it
Manny's
already,
about to
right?
retire. I mean, you need
Pretty
somebody
bad. He
that
just
can
hangs out on
relate-
in downtown 4th Street.
Yeah.
that can relate to pretty much anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Manny's good, and I met Manny many times.
Mhm.
I always see him at Zamora's or at the Fun Place, you know, that type of thing.
But
But
he's mingling with the community.